Do strict parents produce better behaved kids? Or do stricter parents miss out on developing a healthy relationship with their children? How do children feel when they find their parents hovering like a helicopter over them? Well, to understand the mindset of a child, let's comprehend a thought provoking poem titled Amanda, composed by Robin Klein, an Australian author. Hello, dear students. This is Sushma Singh, and you are watching Booster Classes. Consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and get benefited. Now, before moving on to the summary of this profound poem, let me give you its overview first. This poem depicts the mindset of a little girl, Amanda, who is constantly instructed about what to do and what not to do by her parents, especially her mother. Now, this has made her to be a rebellious child because, from a child's perspective, leading a free and peaceful life without any restrictions is of utmost importance. Amanda is longing to be free from continuous control and instructions of her mother. After all, she is too young to grasp the difference between freedom, bondage, and discipline. Now, the scolding of her mother and her thoughts, Amanda's thought, are placed in alternate stanzas by the poet for your better understanding. Let's now find out what strong message this lovely poem has to convey. The dominant theme of this poem is strict parenting and its consequences. The poet suggests that instead of adopting a strict and rigid mindset when raising their children, parents should try a combination of discipline, empathy, and understanding. Actually, in order to ensure that they don't make mistakes, parents keep hovering over their kids and forget that locking up their freedom will push them to the edge of not learning anything. Parents should not ignore the innocence and understanding level of their children. Desire of teenagers for freedom, their longing for freedom and space for themselves is very natural. Growing up is a phase which requires a lot of space. Now, this poem also brings to light that the fact when children feel that they are constantly criticized and their freedom is being curtailed, they might escape to the dreamy world. Now, the poet wants to convey that wishes and feelings of children should also be taken care of because parents who impose harsh limitation on their children every time do more harm than good. As a matter of fact, extreme parental restriction does not allow children to blossom fully and freely. Considering at the level of the deeper meaning of stanza 1, we can say that in these lines, the little girl Amanda is being instructed and reprimanded by her parent for biting her nails and sitting lazily with her shoulders bent. Now, her mother is over anxious about her and wants her to adopt the right posture and sit up straight. Mother keeps on nagging poor Amanda. Now, the poet here focuses on the authoritarian style of parenting and how parents burden their children with too many expectations. Amanda is also getting trained for being civilized and fit for the society she is a part of. Being presentable is one of the demands of the society we live in. And that's the very reason that mother keeps on nagging poor Amanda. Now, students, the exclamation mark used for the last word in this stanza, that is Amanda itself, indicates the irritation and frustration of the parents. Proceeding to the in-depth explanation of stanza 2, we see that within first bracket, Amanda's blissful world of imagination is described and her free-flowing thoughts are also revealed out here. Amanda uses her imagination as an scapegoat from day-to-day commands of her nagging parents, especially her mother. She feels suffocated in the real world because she finds her mother's instruction very stifling and thus she finds peace in very own created world where there are no restraints and restrictions. She imagines herself to be a joyful mermaid so that she may sail alongside soft waves of a green sea in a very relaxed fashion and without any limitations or restriction. She wants to enjoy the loneliness and peace there. Indeed, she is longing for freedom. In this stanza too, we find Amanda is being constantly inquired about whether she has finished her homework or not, if she has cleaned her room, even whether she has polished her shoes or not. Now, Amanda is being instructed by her mother in a very strict tone about the things that are related to her surroundings. Indeed, she is being disciplined for every little, every petty things. Now, as a matter of fact, Amanda's mother is always finding faults, and she doesn't seem to know how to strike a balance between training and taking good care of her own child. Stanza 4 reveals that Amanda is very much depressed because of her mother's constant lecturing and correcting her, that she prefers to be an orphan so that there will be no one to tell her what to do and what not to do. Now, this not only does it show that love and gentleness of her parents is really missing from Amanda's life, but also the miserable failure of her parents in bringing her up. If she has no parents, she may roam on the street, moving aimlessly and making designs with her bare feet on the soft dust without receiving several instructions. There will be absence of instructions, you can see. Now, Amanda cherishes that level of silences and craves for sweet dream because of the overpowering environment around her. Now, this reinforces that high expectations are healthy, but expecting perfection has its own repercussions. Amanda is forbidden by her mother from eating any chocolate because earlier that had caused her to develop acne on her face. Now, here we see how a child is made conscious of physical appearance from a very tender age itself because society, after all, values beauty and grace. Nevertheless, Amanda is often lost in her own world of imagination when her mother is reprimanding and scolding her. This highlights the fact that kids raised with harsh discipline and excessive nagging only tend to be more rebellious. Now, Amanda does the same. She turns defiant and stops listening to what is being told to her by her mother because she doesn't want to lead a life ruled by her mother. She wants her own life. Now she avoids even looking at the face of her mother while she is talking to Amanda. Now this behavior of Amanda's points out nothing but her disrespect towards her mother. Stanza 6 reveals that Amanda does not care a bit what her mother says, and once again she is found withdrawn into her fantasy world and imagines herself to be a fairy tale character called Rapunzel, who seemed to have no worry living in a lonely tower. She is so fascinated by the lonely and tranquil life of the beautiful golden-haired Rapunzel, the princess, that she will never let her hair down in an attempt to be escaped from the tower, just like what you can say Rapunzel did. Amanda does not want her peace to be disturbed anyhow. We can see here how the presence of her parents and their inhuman behavior, after all, made her dislike any association or any connection with human beings. Amanda longs to go away and prefers to live a life of solitude. Well, student, here I'll tell you why the final stanza of this poem is very ironic. We all know that kids raised with punitive discipline have tendencies towards anger and depression. However, Amanda's mother fails to understand this and tells her to stop sulking or feeling unhappy anymore. She also accuses her of having mood swings very frequently. Now, this is what is very ironic because mother's nagging actually makes Amanda sad, and it is her mother who is demanding her not to feel so depressed. Her behavior has made her parents worry about their image. They are concerned. Amanda's parents are just worried or concerned about how society will perceive or take them if their child always remain in a low mood. They want to prove themselves as responsible and best parents who manage to balance out what the child wants and what the society expects from Amanda. So, in spite of their scolding, they want the child to look smart and happy. This poem is also notable for its remarkable use of various poetic devices, which have effectively enhanced the beauty of this poem. Now, in this slide, students, you can find that all the literary devices used by the poet are mentioned along with explanation, as well as examples are also there for your better understanding. You can simply note them down and time to time you can revise. I'm extremely hopeful that you all must have got the in-depth explanation of this poem. Students, these questions will surely help you to check your comprehension level. So without fail, give an attempt to solve them and deepen your understanding. You can take help from the explanation which I have just given to you. And thank you for watching the video till the end. Keep watching and keep learning.